Hello and welcome to Three Questions With. Got my buddy Bob with us from Expense Reduction Analysts. Good morning, Bob, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for inviting me.
So, Bob, why don't we just jump in? Tell us a little bit about what your company does.
So, Expense Reduction Analysts is the largest strategic cost reduction consultancy in the world. We've got over 1,000 consultants in 60 different countries, and we help businesses to reduce their operating costs without having to cut their staff.
So, I think back to when I was CFO of the bank, and I think about a service like yours and how helpful that would have been because, using telephone, hey, telephone contract's up. And we're looking at saying, can we save some money on this? And then you start talking to different companies and you can get overwhelmed really quickly, Bob. And you know what? I'm just going to stay with who I have because I got overwhelmed. So you can kind of help people stop from getting overwhelmed.
That's actually a pretty great question. So when you think about it, just what you described there, you're dealing with your telephone contract, your mobile communications or whatever it is, you're dealing with that maybe once every couple of years. And ERA consultants are dealing with dozens of those contracts on an annual basis, and they understand the ins and outs, and they can relatively quickly assess the situation and then provide you with just a summary, and all you do is make the decision essentially.
That really makes a lot of sense to me because again, you just can get so overwhelmed and, hey, is this vendor good, type of thing. So it makes sense. But also, Bob, what I like about it is I call it a sanity check. Hey, I brought Bob in, he's looked at these categories and we're doing okay. So that to me as a CFO, that's something I can take back to my board, showing I've done my due diligence. Because one of the jokes, Bob, is I had a tendency to hire my friends when I worked at the bank. If I knew you and you were, that was your category, you were probably coming in because I like working with my friends because I'm hoping I can trust my friends and be there when I need them. Sanity check helps too, right?
No, that makes a lot of sense. And at the end of the day, really, when we do our assessment and do the analysis, it's not uncommon that we find that a company is already doing a great job at managing those expenses in a particular category, most likely, and we're happy to report that to them. And that, like you said, it's a sanity check, and it gives them a sense of security that they know that they've already got best in class pricing.
So, Bob, how does it work? What's the process then?
The process is really four steps. The first step is to do a baseline analysis to establish what the costs are now at a specific category level. Second step is to be go deeper and provide an analysis, potentially go out to market and return to the client with a set of options or recommendations that includes their incumbent supplier at a reduced cost, as well as alternatives, as long as the service levels and quality are equal or better. That's followed up with implementation, depending on the client's requirements, what they choose to do, how they choose to move forward. 70% of the time they stick with their incumbent. And then we monitor those expenses over a 24-month engagement to ensure that the supplier is staying in line with what they agreed to initially.
Yeah, like I said, that definitely makes sense. Now, does the expenses need to be at a certain level for it to make sense for you guys to do an analysis?
Yeah, depending on the category, it there does need us. They do need to meet a certain threshold in terms of their expenses, but no, we're open minded. We try to look at opportunities for the client. Sometimes a certain category doesn't fit the mold, but another one does.
So, Bob, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can they learn more?
Um, Probably the best way, just call my cell phone, 610-952-9304. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to just have a conversation.
Bob, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of the day to come on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it.